For BamaCentral.com, I'm Joey Blackwell here with Tony Tsoukalas and Katie Wyndham, and this is 3 and Out. Alabama basketball head coach Nate Oates talked last week about how they aren't actively searching for that 13th scholarship player, and they're perfectly content with the 12 scholarship players that they currently have. That being said, Alabama basketball does have a ton of new talent coming in, either via the transfer portal or incoming freshmen. Tony, Katie, let's talk about that. Let's talk about who do you guys think among the incoming players will have the biggest impact for the Crimson Tide this season. Let's start with you, Tony.
Yeah, I have to go with Mark Sears, who's a point guard coming in from Ohio. He's a Muscle Shoals native, and he's an experienced point guard, and that's going to be huge for Alabama as they look to replace, or not really replace, but kind of fill in for Javon Quinterly as he's injured. I think Quinterly's going to probably miss the first part of the season. So having a guy like Sears who can come in and take on that veteran point guard role is going to be so great for Alabama. He averaged 19.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.1 assists last season for Ohio. But the biggest thing for me is he shot 40.8% from beyond the arc. Alabama needs that in Nate Oates' system. They need, not only just people that can shoot, but they can really be a weapon and really be lights out from beyond the arc. And Mark Sears is that. He seems like the perfect Nate Oates player. And I think if you look at last year's team, I think, you had some talent, but you didn't have those perfect Nate Oates players, or at least not everybody would fit that mold. I think you really get that with Mark Sears, and I'm excited about seeing how he's going to fit in with Nate Oates' system.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. Sears is kind of meeting a position of need while JQ's out, like you said. But I think I'm going to have to go with Brandon Miller, the freshman, who's a McDonald's All-American, a 5-star, one of the top players in his class. And, he's kind of one of those guys that's getting hype as a one and done type player. And we've kind of seen the last few years, just like you were kind of saying, Tony, with not necessarily Nate Oates players in a Nate Oates system, that they've been really guard reliant, which that's in a way how his offense is going to run. But Brandon Miller kind of provides that talent down at the forward position, a really talented big that the Alabama offense has been lacking when they've had good guard play, which, like we've talked about Charles Bediako and Noah earlier coming back at the forward position. But I think having this freshman in there is really going to push them. And he's a guy that has elite talent that is going to bring a lot down low. And that's something that Alabama's been needing and can really help on offense and defense.
No doubt, both those players will highly benefit Alabama. Brandon Miller obviously being McDonald's All-American. Excuse me, sorry, flipping over my words today. But with Mark Sears, you also have a guy like Tony said. He shot 40.8% from three, which is obviously something that Alabama struggled with last year. I see him making a huge impact coming back to his home state and playing for the Crimson Tide. He obviously he had 40 starts at Ohio over his 2 seasons there. Played over 50 games there, so he has some experience, which is something that you want to get from the portal. And having that Division I experience will really benefit that. For BamaCentral.com, I'm Joey Blackwell with Tony Tsoukalas and Katie Wyndham. Thank you so much for watching 3 and Out.